Welcome to my channel, it's Egwin here from Beyond Systems. Today we are talking about the topic of moving through the day rather than stabilizing through the day. Now, all of this is also a part of the Movement Nugget series. So I'm gonna do what I want to explain to you in real life, in this case, in a kitchen scenario. All right, let's just jump right into it. And I think there'll be a lot of quite interesting insights in movement that you can apply on a regular day basis. Let's get started. So the first scenario I want to pull your attention to is us standing in front of our stove, having something in our pan and cooking. And obviously also steering pot, or in this case, the wok. Now, what most people do looks something like this. Meaning, look at my body. My body isn't moving a lot. The only thing that's moving is my hand. What does this mean? It means that I am stabilizing my body because normally there would be something in here, right? And if there is something in there, it means that I have some resistance on my spoon when I steer this wok. So whenever there is resistance, I have to prevent my body from moving away from that resistance. It's pretty much like if I push against this shelf here, then obviously either I'm stable enough to push that shelf away from me, or I push myself away from that shelf. In a much more reduced tensional state, so with less amount of tension, the same thing is true if you steer a pot. So first suggestion for you today is when you steer a pot, try to shift the area that you are stabilizing in order to steer, which means that rather than standing there and just using your hand like this or the other hand, actually use your whole body for this movement. You are standing in front of that pot, and see, what I can do is I can move my hip joints. I can actually make this steering the pot a full body movement. Might look a little bit funny if you over-exaggerate it, but it is actually something where rather than you locking out your hip joints, you actually start to move from your feet, from the heels up, and you transmit that energy, that force into your meal, into whatever you're steering here. This also means that there is more blood flow in your hip joints, and it also means that more energy is processed through your legs, which also translates to better circulation in both lymphatic flow as well as blood circulation, which in return helps you with overall oxygenation and health in your whole body. And basically that's what I want to share with you in this video, and I'm going to share this through different scenarios. So this being one of them, see, I'm going to turn a little bit towards you with my back so that you can see it. Even if you stand sideways, see, it's this opening and closing movement that I do with my hips. In this case, the part that's a lot calmer, quote unquote, is my shoulder. It's still not locked, so it's not my shoulder is locked and instead my hip is moving. I do have movement in my arm as well, but it's movement that is linked, that is connected, what's happening down there. This connectivity is also so important for more complex movement patterns, like walking, like playing any different type of sport, whatever it might be, catching yourself if you fall, if you slip on a slippery surface in winter, something like that, whatever it might be, the more connected all different heights in your body are, your legs to your trunk to your shoulders, your arms to whatever is happening in your feet, the better and more stable in a functional way you actually are. Stability is nowadays often mistaken for I have to lock something out, I have to tense those muscles, and stability means it does not move. No, that's rigidity. That's not stability. Stability means that you can do whatever is necessary with as much of a full body movement as possible. That also makes the movement more efficient. Efficient in a neurological sense as well as in an energetic sense. Because, truth be told, if whatever you're steering here is a little bit more heavy and maybe you even have a bigger pot, if you do this just out of your shoulder, eventually areas down the biomechanical line in your body, they will get stiff. Your shoulder might even go up like this. But why not use the powerhouse down here? Your glutes, your quads, hammies, your feet, the gastrocnemius muscle, and all of those areas down there that actually help you to propel yourself forward throughout the day, and so on and so on. So this is example number 1. Let's move over to example number 2. All right, so here it is, example number 2. I have my cutting board, a knife, and some vegetable, in this case, a carrot, that I want to slice up and then put in my wok. Now, what most people are probably doing is something like this. Maybe not in that specific pattern, but they are moving primarily their hand. Now, what I suggest again is use your whole body in a slicing motion to actually facilitate those cuts and train yourself, your coordination, your interlinked movement, and your circulation at the same time while cutting up your carrots for your meal. So, or whatever it might be actually. So this is the same principle applied. Obviously, the principle is already explained. I'm just going to give you some more ideas. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about how such an approach can be beneficial in a second. One thing that I can say right now already is that moving your hip joints and learning to differentiate between the left and the right in a proper way so that one opens while the other closes and vice versa, or both open and close at the same time, and so on, is really a very, very important capability. Well, most people can do it when they lie on their backs and they move their legs from one side to the other, but then in standing, many have a hip lock where sort of they seem not to be able to actually turn the hip between the legs, with the legs being the fixed point, quote unquote. But this is a very important ability, like I said, because it has a lot to do with your ability to switch from the left to the right while walking, to actually adjust your heading, your direction. This is also psychologically a massive implication here. Like, everything that goes on psychologically is shown in the body eventually. And either there is a limit in the body and it pushes into the realm of psychology, meaning making you less mobile in your head, or vice versa. Both of those scenarios are possible. But now let's jump into the next application possibility. See, I just love refrigerators. Why? Simply because it's so hard to open a door. See, when I stand in front of the refrigerator and I pull on it, I can't even open it. Can you? Like, the funny thing here is this. When you stand in front of the fridge and you pull with your hand to overcome the resistance of that rubber and that slide under pressure that's in there, then you have to be aware of one thing. You have to stabilize with a lot of muscles through the body. All of that stabilization is being done completely subconsciously. Normally, you wouldn't be aware of that because it's such a low impact stabilizing element. If I attempt to lift this whole cupboard here, then I need much more muscles. I need to stabilize my body much more intensely in order actually to facilitate this lift. But with a refrigerator door, it really challenges your perception. And training your perception is the first stage, the first very important element to actually improve your coordination and improve your mobility. Whatever muscle you have more perception over, you have more control over. So what you can do with a refrigerator door, again, you can do the same thing that I showed just before, where you stand in front of the fridge and you consciously use your whole body to move the door. Like, I'm just gonna go on this side so you see better. See, now I'm consciously locking out, quote unquote, my arm and using a rotation in my lower body to open the fridge door. So that's one thing you can play with. Either stabilize down there and move primarily with your hand, or stabilize up here, move primarily down there, or with the example of steering a pot, really having a focus on this force running all the way through your body and finding a smooth way where you feel like every single step on the way, all parts of your body are included. This almost becomes like a massage, like a dance, or if you're into something like that, almost like martial arts sometimes, because it's really a highly connected movement. Another thing that you can do with the refrigerator, and I say that also in some of my online classes, is this. When you stand there, you pull on the door, try to pull yourself towards it. Meaning, try to get so much control over your muscles in your legs, in your back, that rather than automatically stabilizing to open the door, you actually perceive that when you pull, this little resistance that the refrigerator door gives you is enough to actually pull your body forward when you consciously allow it, when you do not stabilize, do not use that stabilization element. Like I said, this is partially a perceptual exercise. Now, why is all of this important? Like I just said, apart from creating more flux, more flow in the body, it's another way where you can consciously engage with your movement system rather than running on autopilot and doing every single task throughout the day with the same movement pattern. Those are just different ways to break that up. Are there other possibilities? Yeah, sure. One of those is grabbing a broom or a mop and applying what we've just been talking about to cleaning the floor. See, most people, they won't clean the floor like this anyway. They will do something like this, or at least step around a little bit, but become creative. Really take this broom, step there, and see that every single movement that you do actually becomes a full body movement, whether it's to the left or to the right, or you want to move somewhere closer down. Move your body, use your legs, use the joints, and be conscious about it. Be aware of opening and closing of the hip joints. Be aware of weight shift on the ball of the foot, on your heel, from the inside to the outside edge of the foot. Make sure that your knees stay in alignment with the toes. They don't fall to the inside like this. All of those are movement practices perceptual exercises that you can do on a regular day just simply while doing your chores. Integrating movement into life isn't really a thing because life is movement. So it's more about integrating the conscious element, your conscious awareness, into what's happening in terms of movement anyway, so that you lift it more to that conscious level. Why? Well, simple. If you do not do that, if you're not conscious of your movement, then you run on autopilot 90% of the time, and you repeat the same movement patterns over and over again. Becoming more aware triggers your creativity, it triggers your perception of your body, which helps with psychologically centering with yourself, bringing you into the present moment, connecting you with yourself, improving your overall body confidence and sensation for yourself. And that's all of those. Every single one of them alone would be already reason enough to do those things. But all of those together, it's awesome. And it's fun. Always think about things like, okay, nice. I can integrate, I can play. And okay, if play is not so much on the menu for you in terms of your psychological structure, then just see it as an exercise that is efficient, that helps you to actually do something for your health, a movement practice, while at the same time also doing, say, cleaning the floor, washing up, cooking something, and so on and so on. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave comments down in the comment box below if you have any questions or anything like that, or any special requests. If you think that this information is important for anyone else, please do share the video and also hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with more like this and more things about natural movement, some movement exercises, and also biomechanical and biomechanic psychological elements, how all of consciousness and movement and all of this is connected, then hit that subscribe button to stay up to date, and also check out the rest of the channel to see videos that I've already done in the past. Thanks a lot for watching. See you around soon, I hope, and have a wonderful time. See you. Bye.